They are all guilty. Each and every one of them. They're guilty. And the worst part is that nobody actually wants to take accountability. They are all so comfortable pointing their fingers at the next person. And it's so sad that even after so many years, nobody actually wants to say, yes, I was wrong. I contributed in creating this monster. I traumatized those girls. None of them want to take accountability. They are so comfortable pointing their fingers at the next person. What does that say about you? You'll know what you were doing. You're like just as bad. She may have been the face of this whole brand, this whole program, but at the end of the day, each of you contributed and you got paid for it. So I guess the money was so good that now you're moving around in all these shows talking about, oh, this is what she did. What about what you did? Have you really taken ownership in what you did? Nope. So I just watched Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model, and I am disgusted. I am disgusted because I feel like, first and foremost, the only reason they really wanted to reflect on this is because they wanted a paycheck. But they know what they did. They are no different from Tyra Banks. And I'm so disappointed at Tyra because she just brushed off the whole thing like, yeah, that happened, but it was that time. She really didn't dig deep and showed how remorseful she was or taken any form of accountability into the monster that she created. I do think that in the beginning, her intentions were really pure. She wanted to give girls a chance to be in the modeling industry, girls that would have never gotten this opportunity. And yes, it was an opportunity, but it came at a price. It came at a cost. It came at a cost of their mental health. And the worst part is that it really did not elevate their careers in any way. They might have won the show, but it seems like winning also repelled them. They might have been part of this amazing opportunity of being America's Next Top Model, but it actually repelled agencies from getting them the work. So what did they really gain from this whole thing? Except trauma. And that's the saddest thing. I know that when I was watching it, when I was younger, I really loved it because I didn't understand. I didn't really grasp what was happening. But now when I look back at it, I'm like, oh, this is so traumatic. All of it. This is so bad. And we all, to a certain extent, contributed because we kept on watching it week after week regardless. I'm not American. When it aired in South Africa, I made sure that I watched each and every episode. And never once did I look back and think that, damn, this is so cold. But it also shows how we were at that time. We were not evolved. We never took mental health seriously as we do now. And that was the beginning of the reality show culture. It is so toxic. It is so toxic. But let us just take a minute and talk about UPN, the network, because I feel like they are not getting any flack for what they did. And I do agree with each and every one of them when they say that your boss has bosses. That is true. UPN was their bosses. And they cared about the ratings. They didn't care about the how. They just wanted to see those numbers climb up. They didn't care if people were being raped, if people were having medical procedures. It was good TV. It was extremely toxic. But it gave them the ratings and the money that they needed. Everybody enjoyed a paycheck. The network made a lot of money from that. Tyra, Jay Manuel, they all made a whole lot of money from that. And guess who didn't get the rewards? The girls that wanted to be models. The only thing that they truly got from there was trauma. And it's so sad to look back at it now and realize just how much happened. It is so heartbreaking because I cannot imagine how all these women must have felt. So one of the things that stuck out for me that was extremely painful, and I don't understand why they had to put that on air, And I also don't understand why, when she had her own talk show, Tyra Banks, she decided to air that again. She really played onto this woman's trauma. The girl gets raped. And instead of being sensitive towards that, you'll reframe it as cheating. That was never cheating. She was heavily intoxicated. Y'all recorded the whole thing. The whole thing, her whole trauma. And y'all made sure that she eventually called a boyfriend. And y'all made sure that you recorded the whole thing. And y'all framed her as this cheating woman. Whereas that was rape. It happened. It got the ratings so high. But looking at that, oh my God. Why would you let that happen? Why would you be okay to even air that? Surely there could have been more sensitivity around that issue. It never should have happened to begin with, because whatever happens in your set, you are responsible for it. It is your production. You are also a woman. Imagine a person filming all of that. How would you feel? Imagine the person who is supposed to be taking care of you, then that happens. And the worst part, she keeps on saying that she didn't know. She did not know. However, in her talk show, she still plays that. She still plays that clip. So, did you really not know, or were you okay with the ratings? You wanted that paycheck. You wanted to have the best show, like best show, so that you can get your paycheck and go. But you really did not care about the well-being of those women. I mean, children. Because they were very young at that point. They didn't know any better. And another thing that was hurtful was seeing Ebony, Ebony, I don't think she was ever in a closet. However, she is right. It should have been treated with more sensitivity, because she might have gotten hurt. We know how people are and were about homosexuality. For you to not give a person the space or approach it in a totally different way, it would have been so much better. It would have been so much better for everybody involved, Give a person the space to publicly come out themselves, rather than you outing it just because it's good TV, I'm in no way saying that she was ever in a closet, but she did say that, okay, so in her words, she stated that she would have hoped they would have at least pulled her to the side and asked, how does she want to approach this? They forgot the danger of that. Those were her words. And I completely agree. They truly forgot how dangerous. And another thing that actually hurt me is when they closed Daniela's gap, and she was also hurt by it. And one of the reasons that really stuck with me is because I also have a gap in between my teeth. I love my gap. I would not want to be forced to close it. Now imagine being forced. She really did not have a choice. It wasn't a matter of suggesting it, but it had to be done. If you want this opportunity, then it has to be done. And the worst part is that even when she won America's Next Top Model, God, she still did not accomplish much as a model, So, did she really win? She changed her looks only for them to, on the next cycle, to widen another girl's gap. And I found that so odd. Why would you tell this black girl that her gap needs to go, and then turn around on another cycle, be like, oh, this is so intriguing, let's exaggerate it? Why would you do that? So Tyra was dead wrong for so many things. She was completely wrong. And some of the ideas were completely just stupid. Like the poverty shot, Seriously, there's never been a time where poverty would ever be glamorous. And they created those shoots. And then they had real people who were homeless as the backdrop. Really? So you are trying to tell me that even looking back at all of these things, you still do not realize how problematic and toxic America's Next Top Model. You're like, yeah, sure, we did some stupid things. There's no accountability at all. None whatsoever. Damn. Why did you even think that medical procedures were the way to go? Why did you all think that the poverty photo shoot was worthy? And the worst one, blackface. Who came up with that idea? And Tyra, I'm so disappointed in you because you're a black woman. Surely you saw how wrong that was. But no, you kept on playing at those very stereotypes, at those things that were so uncomfortable to marginalized groups. And the worst part, you're a black woman. At what point are you like, no, this is too much? But I guess the paycheck was so good that you kept on going and feeding this monster continuously. So I am disappointed that even this documentary called Reality Check, none of them came into any realization of how toxic they were and how much they contributed into creating trauma and how much they actually didn't change. None of them. Yes, Tyra was so wrong, but so are you. So are you. You'll use these girls. You'll use their trauma. Even the parts where they brought in the psychic, the only reason you did that is because you wanted to dig into these girls' past traumatic experiences and use it for ratings in your show. Why? Looking back, it wasn't as glamorous as we all thought it was at that time, and it would have been nice if they all reflected and owned up to their mistakes and being honest about it, But everybody just brushed it off and pointed the next person. And Tyra, you the founder, of course you should get backlash for this. I would have somehow, I don't think how you can get back from this, but I would have liked to see you take more accountability. It's just a pity that as much as this made you, it cemented you into history. The least that you could have done was taken accountability, but you didn't. Nobody did. And I'm so sorry for everything that these women had to go through. Was it a great opportunity at that time? Absolutely. But it came at a cost. It came at a cost of your mental health, your well-being, and also your career in future. Like looking back, there are only a few people who were in America's Next Top Model who really elevated into being household names. They're less than 5. And it's so sad, considering how many cycles that show had. And also, they didn't get to be household just being models. They had to branch out into other things, such as acting. Yaya became a successful actress. Eva as well. But there's so few people who actually got to become, great. Everybody else, we really don't know what happened afterwards, But now we are seeing that not much changed. If anything, their lives got worse after the show. That's just a sad reality. But I think it made us realize that not everything that glitters is gold. And just because you've seen somebody win a competition, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to open their doors. You never really know what people are really going through. And just be glad that nobody's recording all your trauma, because I cannot imagine how that feels. It's truly sad.